Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Committee of the Whole. I now call to order Committee of the Whole for Tuesday, April 16th, 2024. And I'll look to Councillor Faubert for the Land Acknowledgement, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'd like to acknowledge that Canmore is located within the Treaty 7 territory, the traditional home of the Stoney Nakoda, comprised of the Bearspaw, Chiniki, and Goodstoney, as well as the Blackfoot, comprised of the Piikani, Kainai, and Siksika, as well as the Tsuut'ina First Nation, as well as, I believe, Zone 4 Métis now. I acknowledge and keep in the front of my mind at all times that this is their traditional home, and I commit wholeheartedly to the work of reconciliation. Today is a classic example of spring weather here in the mountains. You got a little bit of snow in the air and on the ground, but nonetheless, if you go out and look hard, you can find the changes that come with spring here in the mountains. It's spring that inspires me to reconnect with the land that I live on, this land that this acknowledgement is meant for. I went out yesterday to look for the signs of spring and this renewal that we see every spring here on the landscape. I made it to the spot where I usually find crocuses growing first in the season. Being the first flower that comes out of the ground, to me, this truly is the sign that winter is gone and spring is on the way. I stood and I looked, focused entirely on my goal of finding the crocus so that I could achieve I wanted to deliver this land acknowledgement focused on the crocus, and I could only find two small little ones and I was disappointed because I had a goal, and I took a deep breath and I let it go. And I let go of my focus, I centered myself there in the moment and in that space, and I turned around, and on the slope below me there were dozens of crocuses. I just didn't see them right there yet, because instead of being connected and centered, I was focused and goal-oriented. This is a beautiful reminder for me, and I think that it also reminds me of a beautiful origin story that the Blackfoot have about the crocus, or the kiapi. And this is a story I first read in Old Man's Garden, a book by Honora Brown. I wanted to share this story with everyone today, but I also wanted to do so in a way that respects and honors the culture of Indigenous people, and I did not want to take their story and tell it myself. There's a website, galileo.org, that actually shares the natural history and cultural history of plants from the Kainai perspective. This website includes the origin story and background of the crocus, and I would like to share this clip. It's called "The Crocus" by Marvin, who is a young Blackfoot member, with everyone here today.
The story told me about the crocus. There once was an Indian boy, ready to go through his ceremony of manhood in the early spring. After the traditional rites of purification, he was sent up into the hills with nothing but a buffalo robe for 3 days of fasting and vision questing. The first night it became very cold, so he wrapped his robe tightly around him, and he heard a little voice say, "Thank you." By looking all around for the voice, he noticed a little white flower. It looked at him and said, "Don't unwrap the robe. It is cold out there." The boy soon fell asleep, feeling just a little bit more secure now that he wasn't all alone. The next day he started talking to the flower. It kept him company as long hours went by. The second night was just as cold, and the flower was very grateful for the boy's warm robe. Third day, the boy was starting to get a bit concerned because he had not as yet have a vision. If he didn't have a vision, he wouldn't become a man. Power assured him that everything would be all right as they looked out together at the beautiful yellow sun reflection on top of the purple mountain. That night was the coldest of them all. They had to cuddle close in the row to keep warm. But just before the dawn, a great vision came to the boy. He saw himself as a great medicine man, taking care of many tribes of people. In the morning, he was so happy with his newfound power, feeling grateful for the friendship given to him by the flower. He told the flower it could have 3 wishes. Locust said, I would like to have a warmth and beauty of yellow sun at my heart, the grace of purple mountain all around me, and a heavy fur robe to keep me warm. To this very day, the children of this little crocus have been given all 3 to keep them warm and happy in the early spring.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Counselor. Now looking to the agenda for today, are there any changes? Seeing none, I move approval of the agenda for April 16th, 2024 Committee of the Whole meeting as circulated. All those in favor? Carried unanimously. And now we'll turn to our delegations. Our first delegation is the Bow Valley SPCA, and I welcome you to Council, or to Committee of the Whole.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here today to speak on behalf of the Bow Valley SPCA. My name is Daisy, and I am the Adoption Center Manager for the Bow Valley SPCA. I have been with the organization for 4 years and stepped into this role in July of 2023. Many of you are likely familiar with who we are and what we do, but I'll remind you briefly of what makes us unique. We are Canada's first no-kill, no-cage adoption center, and we are a nonprofit, donor-supported humane society serving the people and pets of the Bow Valley and beyond. Being a no-kill facility means that we often receive animals that wouldn't be given a chance elsewhere, such as senior animals or animals with complex behavioral or medical challenges. I'd like to begin this presentation by telling you about 2 of our recent resident animals whose stories really highlight how we differ from other shelters. Bedard was a transfer into our care after being found stray. Bedard is your typical shepherd. He's high energy, high drive, too smart for his own good, and with the added quirk of being reactive towards other dogs. After healing up from a dental surgery, Bedard began his hunt for a forever home. But because of his size, his breed, being an adult dog, and his behavior quirks, finding a home for Bedard is more challenging, and he needs the right type of home to set him up for success. The unfortunate reality at other shelters is that animals that take longer to be adopted are often not given a chance, but we believe strongly that there is a home out there for every animal, and it is so worth the wait. In the meantime, Bedard has spent countless hours with our staff and volunteers, learning about impulse control and how to manage his big feelings about other dogs, and he's now able to walk on a loose leash and can even walk past other dogs at a distance without losing his cool. Bedard is still waiting for his forever home, but we hope that it's right around the corner as he recently passed his 1-year anniversary of being in our care. Inara was a transfer from another shelter where she was facing euthanasia for aggression. Upon meeting Inara, we realized that she could be very sweet and she would rub up against our legs asking for pets, but when we would actually touch her, that's when she would lash out, which led us to believe that perhaps her aggression was related to pain rather than something behavioral, and sure enough, x-rays confirmed advanced arthritis in her hips and elbows. We got Inara started on a pain management plan consisting of a monthly injection of an anti-inflammatory and twice-daily pain medications, and within just a few weeks, a different side of Inara emerged that was snuggly and sweet and even playful. It can be a challenge to adopt out senior pets, let alone ones with pre-existing health conditions requiring lifelong medication, but we're very happy to report that Inara just found her forever home a few weeks ago after being in our care for 9 months. I'd like to talk about a few of the trends next from 2023. In 2023, we adopted out 89 cats and 43 dogs, compared to 127 cats and 39 dogs in 2022. Although we intook more animals in 2022, the number of owner surrenders remained fairly consistent, and in 2023, we housed 12 dogs and cats for the Canmore Municipal Enforcement Department, compared to 13 housed in 2022. When we look at some of these trends, the first thing that we've noticed is an increase in the number of long-term residents with behavioral or medical challenges, and this does limit intakes if we have one animal occupying a room for a year or longer. Such was the case with a dog named Benji, who infamously was in our care for 2 years before finally being adopted last year. Adoption rates to start off 2024 have been exceptionally slow, with only about half the number of cats being adopted and only 1 dog adopted so far this year, compared to 11 by the first quarter of last year. The most startling trend, and one which poses a Canada-wide challenge, is the sheer number of requests for surrenders, particularly for dogs. Animal shelters across Canada have been operating at or above capacity for most of 2023, and this is continuing into 2024, with many more requests for surrenders than people adopting. Sorry. We have maintained an ongoing wait list for dog surrenders, in particular, which has not moved quickly due to being compounded with these slower than average adoption rates. The unfortunate reality at open admission shelters is that in order to intake and adopt out more animals within the current crisis, animals with any behavioral or medical challenges are being rejected or euthanized to make space for only the most highly adoptable animals. This is one way in which we differ. We will still accept, rehabilitate, and adopt out animals with treatable behavioral and medical challenges, which does magnify the demand on us to intake these surrenders that are slated for euthanasia or rejected elsewhere. But we believe it is much more important to remain true to our no-kill philosophy, and it is so rewarding to see these animals rehabilitated and adopted out into loving forever homes in our community. On a brighter note, 2023 was a great year for community outreach and volunteerism. We are so excited when we get the opportunity to send our volunteers into local classrooms or to host center tours. And in 2023, we did 9 classroom visits and hosted 2 Girl Guide groups and 4 grade 1 tours at our center, and we are so excited when we're able to help inspire the next generation of animal advocates in our community. The Bow Valley Pet Therapy Program allows volunteers and their dogs to visit patients in hospitals, long-term care, and senior residences, and can also be found in schools and at community events and fundraisers. In 2023, there was a fire in a Lake Louise residence that displaced hundreds, and we're very proud of the fact that within 24 hours, our pet therapy teams were on site, providing comfort and dog cuddles during a very stressful time. In 2023, we focused on expanding our pet therapy program, and we grew the program from 4 dogs and handlers up to 15, with new recruits currently going through the process to continue to expand the program this year. Our Shed Shop is a lesser-known gem that serves as a community thrift store for pet owners, providing an affordable option, as well as encouraging people to reuse and recycle, with the proceeds going back to the shelter. We are currently in the process of obtaining funding to demolish our current very dilapidated shed that houses our Shed Shop and build a newer, fresher, bigger, and safer space to house our Shed Shop. In collaboration with the 3 vet clinics in town, we offer eligible residents of the Bow Valley with subsidized, low-cost spay and neuter surgeries to help combat the pet overpopulation crisis. With high costs of living, including vet fees, we have seen an increase in the demand for this program. And from 2022 to 2023, we actually saw a 60% increase in the number of pet owners accessing the SNAP program. We have a long-standing relationship with the Canmore Municipal Enforcement Department to temporarily house at-large dogs and cats found within the town of Canmore, either until they are retrieved by their owners or surrendered into our care for subsequent adoption. We have seen an increase in the number of clearly abandoned cats and dogs, of those that are not reclaimed by owners. And with shelters so full, unfortunately, out of desperation, people are resorting to abandoning their pets within the town of Canmore and beyond. So we have been having proactive conversations with the Canmore Municipal Enforcement Department to brainstorm solutions on how we may be able to manage an increased population of abandoned cats and dogs. Our work wouldn't be possible without the help of over 150 volunteers who selflessly donate their time and energy towards our mission. We pride ourselves on being an inclusive organization that appeals to a really wide demographic of individuals to create a very diverse volunteer base. In 2023, our volunteers, and this is not including foster home hours, logged over 5,000 hours of volunteer service, which is pretty incredible. In 2023, we had a litter of puppies born at our center, and if you know puppies, you know how much work they are. And so we put a call out to our volunteer base to help to socialize, train, bathe, spend time with, and clean up after all of these puppies while they grew big and strong enough to head to their forever homes. And our volunteers committed over 100 hours of volunteer service just towards this one litter of puppies alone, which I really believe is a testament to the level of individualized care that we are able to provide to our resident animals. Thank you so much for having me here today to speak with you, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have. We also have Ed, our treasurer, and Lisa, our president, in attendance today, so you may ask questions of any one of us.
Well, thank you very much, and really appreciate you coming here today and sharing about some of the work that you do, and very informative. It makes my heart hurt to think of the abandoned animals. So thank you for the work that you do in taking care of them.
Of course.
And finding them new homes. I mean, that's quite a commitment to those animals that that need a home, and to have them for 1 or 2 years is really quite amazing. So thank you for that. I see some questions here. Councillor Mara.
Thank you. Thank you for your report. I just have a couple questions. I want to first say thank you to you and all your volunteers, because it's a lot of hours, and that's, animals are in my heart also. And the therapy dogs that go to the different venues, hospital, schools, I appreciate that, because I've actually seen it firsthand and seen the happiness on the face of some of the residents when they see the dogs come in. So that's close to my heart also. I do have a question about the SNAP program.
Sure.
There's a discount offered to the people who want their animals spayed or neutered.
Yeah.
Is there a limit to how many that the 3 clinics will take?
At this time, no. Of course, each year we sort of keep track of how many people are accessing the SNAP program. At this year, there's been no limitations on our end or on the vet clinic's end, but it's certainly something that we keep track of the numbers to see how it changes year over year.
Okay, thank you. And if I may, one more?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. When it comes to your municipal grants, is it just the town of Canmore that you receive a grant from? Like, I don't know if Banff has their own facility, or if it's Banff, Canmore, MDA Bighorn, who?
Yeah, just
if you can answer that question.
absolutely, yeah.
In addition to the town.
If you don't mind coming to the mic, it's the way that the streaming is able to pick up your voice.
Ed, the treasurer. In addition to the town of Canmore grant, we receive a grant from the town of Banff in the amount of $7,500 a year. Those would be the only 2 municipal grants that we receive.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. And one last question. What does, if someone would like to volunteer, they just go to your website and sign up, or make a donation, or et cetera,
Absolutely.
correct?
Yeah, our website has tons of great information. We have an online volunteer application form that you go in, fill out. Then we have some online modules, volunteer orientation, and then an in-person meeting as well. But yeah, fairly simplistic, and it all starts on our website.
Oh, and I have one more, sorry. How long, sorry, this is obviously a passion of mine. How long, if you have an animal, and you said you've had one that stayed 2 years, how long are you willing to keep an animal? lifetime?
I'm not sure that there's a time limit.
Is there a time limit? No.
Yeah, no, not necessarily. I think
Okay.
the thing that changes is how can we make sure that that animal's life is still enriched. So that's when maybe we would look to foster homes or different ways that we can enrich that animal's lives while they're in the shelter. But thankfully, we are set up to be able to, you know, keep a welfare positive environment for that animal for as long as we have them.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Councillor Faubert.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your presentation. I had a question as well about the spay-neuter assistance program. In the report, it says that the SPCA follows the town of Canmore's requirements for the Affordable Services Program to determine eligibility. Why not be part of the Affordable Services Program?
That's a great question. Has that ever been looked at before?
Hi, Lisa, the president. I think it has. We were told we couldn't, actually. So,
Okay.
but I think we're certainly open to it, and it's something we're happy to look into because we just accept that model, and those are the criteria that we employ. But it was probably 2 years ago that we had that conversation. So
Okay.
if it's time to renew it, we're happy to do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
my thought was that if you have to qualify under the Affordable Services Program and then qualify eligibility to the spay and neuter program, that's 2 sets of paperwork that you got to go through. But I will follow up on my end. Thank you.
Sounds great.
Excellent question. It sounds like there's a lot of alignment there, so excellent. Councillor Graham.
Thank you. Well done up here today. Thank you. I'm curious, the funding from the town of Banff, is my understanding, has already been around the $10,000 mark. Is that correct?
I will defer to our treasurer for this one.
75.
It's been 7,500
7,500?
since I've been involved with the organization. That's been about 6 years now.
So for 6 years, it's been $7,500?
That's correct.
Okay. And no request for an increase?
Not as of yet.
Okay. Why not?
That's a good question, and that's probably something that we will be looking at not only for the town of Banff, but the town of Canmore.
Yeah, if you can remind me, what is the town of Canmore?
It's 10,000.
10,000.
10,000.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Councillor Ma.
Thank you, Your Worship, and thank you for your presentation, Daisy. One of the things I really liked about your presentation was the shed shop. Just to kind of help get the word out there a little bit more, if people wanted to donate items to the shed shop, what's the process for that?
They would just have to come by during our public visiting hours or give us a call if they can't make it during those hours, and it's as easy as that. Yeah, we like to really repurpose. Of course, anything that we can use in the shelter goes to use for our own animals, but if we have a surplus, that's certainly one way that we like to give back to the community.
Great, thank you.
Councillor Faubert.
Thank you, Your Worship. And if you'll indulge me, I have one quick question.
Yes.
Would we be able to book the therapy dogs for our public hearings?
I love that question. I don't see why not. If you head to our website, there is just a form to fill out for anyone that's interested in a therapy dog visit. So certainly you can head to our website, and if there's an interest there, I'm sure we would be more than happy to accommodate.
That is a fantastic idea. Councillor Hillstead.
I don't actually have any questions. I just want to thank you for all the work that the SPCA does in our community, and yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you. And I don't see any other questions, so thank you for your time today. Thank you for the informative presentation, and thank you for the wonderful work that you all do. So please send our greetings back to all the pups and cats and
I will. I'll go love them up when I get back to the shelter. Thank you.
thank you. Now, continuing talking about puppies, are we getting a presentation from EPCOR on puppies? So now we have the EPCOR 2024 Town Council presentation. Yeah, and Mr. Como, you're looking very tanned. Welcome to Committee of the Whole. Whenever you're ready, please proceed.
Yes, thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Appreciate the opportunity to present our 2023 results today. Thank you. So last year, when I was here first time, we presented the little transformation in our operations with the introduction of the operational strategy for Canmore. And I'm sorry, I should have introduced myself, reintroduced. My name is Artur Ishkolov. I'm the site operations manager for EPCOR since beginning of 2023.
Good to see you again.
Likewise, thank you. Yes, so back to our operational strategy. At the beginning of 2023, I presented the 4 big buckets we would like to transform our strategy to and operate against or with. And,
If you don't mind speaking to the mic, then it's easier for us to hear and capture your voice. So.
Yep. So, which consists of operational excellence through safe work, continuous improvement, and digital transformation. And really,
I'm sorry, if you could just point it down towards you.
Operational excellence.
There you go.
Is a measured indicator, and we, as a company, as a service provider, we want to retain our status as a trusted advisor. When continuous improvement is our main process to eliminate the waste in processes and make sure that the funds and assets are being utilized properly. How we do it is, with the help of digital transformation, obviously, which is a huge trend nowadays when we try to eliminate obsolete processes which are on paper and completely migrate them on the digital platforms. And with that, nothing is possible without talented people which work for us, as well as our involvement in the community. So based on these big 4 buckets we introduced last year, we showed some great results for 2023. We met or exceeded all our performance indicators, and thanks to our partner and the client, Public Works Department, we have all our key performance indicators actually are on the digital platform on the left. And it's a huge help for us because instead of filling up the old and paper checklist, we go online right now into the platform and pretty much fill up all the forms on the town's website, GIS, and they immediately being populated as the status of the KPIs being produced. All right, so highlights for EPCOR operations is I'm proud to report that we over 2 years without incidents and lost time injuries. Like I already mentioned, we met or exceeded all our key performance indicators for the year, as well as all water main breaks repairs were planned and repaired within or less than within 24 hours. We sustained all challenging peaks as well as cold snaps during 2023 in terms of uninterrupted operations, responded to all frozen services and public inquiries related to infrastructure. We did have 4 administrative, though, contraventions on our processes, as well as we repaired 8 water main breaks, and we were able to save almost 300,000 cubic meters of precious water last year. In terms of the asset management, like I already mentioned, assets worked very well last year. We sustained all cold snaps and peak seasons without major interruptions in operations. We were able to introduce almost 4 kilometers of linear infrastructure, which is Southborough River Loop. It's officially finalized on all the project charts as well as the system. And it's being documented as an added asset. We added 18 new hydrants related to development and repaired and introduced 30 manholes. Regarding the situation in the midsummer for Pump House 1 and Pump House 2 misbalance, we conducted the investigation. Recommendations were given to Public Works Department. It's a complex system which require attention as well as some modifications. They very well known, and we are on track with some mitigations in place. As well as we were in a very good collaboration with the town engineering, Public Works, as well as developers to make sure that the new subdivisions are being developed to safe operational standards as well as the technical requirements, which will work in favor for the town. And on this picture, I just wanted to point out how complex the system is. This is the model of hydraulic flow, and we do have almost 100 pressure regulating valves in this town, and the arrows in different directions are showing the flow, and basically every little inch of elevation changes the parameters of those valves, which require additional hydraulic modeling. And that's just part of our business and support we're getting from some engineering consultants as well to sustain operations properly.
That's the new gateway?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So this particular picture was actually us collaborating with Town of Canmore Engineering Department to make sure that gateway subdivision is hooked up to the main properly with some additional safety precautions in place and infrastructure installed, which was a great collaboration through following the proper guidelines instead of just doing the way how it's been done before. Okay, and there is a couple of charts on this screen as well, mainly to display how great the outcome of Power BI migration for main KPIs we have for consumption, as well as actually great results. So we show less power consumption and gas consumption compared to 2022, which is a great achievement across the board, actually, including the lift stations and the plant. All right, and it's still live. We still provide quarterly reports on Power BI. It's available, as well as we finalize 100% adoption of our data acquisition system, as well as lab reporting through a software called HackWIM Scenario, which is great. So no more paper checklists. All right, another huge win is we were able to source free of charge a digital platform for the town of Canmore to implement third-party valving component. So basically all the pressure regulating valves I mentioned before are listed right now on third-party platform, and it's available for public works to review. As well as it's great because it's free of charge and it tracks all the maintenance going forward, introducing 2023 results. Okay, and as a part of add-on from AppCore, we do have computerized maintenance system, as well as computerized fleet system for components which belongs to town of Canmore, and we do have in our operations. All right, and as well as on behalf of the town, we operate fully digital report to Alberta environmental parks. Also, I'm excited to report 5 to 6% reduction in water loss across the board, which is a great achievement. It's the biggest reduction we show historically in the last few years. Basically, we went down from 28% in 2022 to 23% water loss in 2023. With that, it's also indicative on the increase of the town's revenue up to 6% for billed water and reduction of 6% in actually leakage through the system. So the biggest contributor for it is part of continuous improvement I introduced last year, which was the enhanced leak detection. We found 7 leaks. In all of 7 of them were in the water main, and we fixed them without loss of pressure and without premature actually surfacing. So if you noticed, 2023